This is the Bravo TV Talker podcast, and I'm doing my top 5 moments from in the city this week, starting with the most important, number 1. Katie Deluca shows up. She shows up 4 different times. She's only speaking 1 time. Guess what she's doing when she's speaking that one single time? Defending Amanda. Katie is not that likable based on this tiny, tiny little thing because she's also very kind of whiny as Amanda is. And this is what she says. It's at the Yvonne Nick wedding dinner, and when everyone's going back and forth about Kyle and Amanda and the drinking versus the weed smoking. So someone says that Amanda, maybe if she's not present, that could be an issue in the relationship. So we see Katie go, not present. She was moving out, and he was out until 3 a.m. the night before and brought random people back to his office. How is that present? That is not okay. His office? I thought he brought people back to the apartment. So I know that they're on the same floor. Does he have one room in the apartment as well? Because that kind of makes a difference. So what if he brought people in a place that's not even in the exact same spot? Because Amanda, again, her compulsive lying, did he not even bring them into your actual personal space? It still sucks that he stayed out till 3 a.m., but you don't give a shit either. So I don't know. I want to know so much more about the Katie DeLuca thing. Is it because she has a job where she can't be seen really supporting someone like Amanda much? And did she beg to be cut out? Is she going to show up on the In the City reunion? There's so much more I want to know there, but it's interesting that she finally did show up because I'm assuming they cut her out of other scenes that she was at. She just maybe couldn't be avoided being cut out of such a small situation, but seems like someone who'd be Amanda's best friend since grade 3. Second most important thing that happened in this episode, the conversation between Kyle and Carl. Carl said something that I think is very telling. He goes, they're talking about being split up. He's asking, are you in love with Amanda? And then Carl says to Kyle, the truth at the end of the day will always come out. That to me implies that he knows something about Amanda's character, because publicly at that point, when this was being filmed and the thing about Amanda and West hadn't come out, Amanda did look like the victim and Kyle looked like the only one that was the aggressor, the horrible person in the situation. But I'm wondering, what did Carl know behind the scenes about Amanda or about how she is in life? So that was very interesting. And Kyle was not able to answer Carl asking, are you in love with her? And he said, I'm not able to give a good answer to, am I in love with her? And then I love that Carl just told him, the world will not end no matter what happens, and used his own scenario with Lindsay. He's like, I was the bad guy and I still survived it, and it's all going to be okay in the end. But it makes me wonder, does he not like Amanda that much? I don't know. The third most important thing from this episode was how much of a hypocrite Amanda is continuing to be about the Danielle Owen situation. He does clear up some information. He is very good at staying calm when people are coming at him, but Amanda is raising her voice again, which is just infuriating considering she said she disassociates when she's being yelled at, implying that Sierra was yelling at her at the reunion. But also, again, diminishing, well, if she did want to yell at you, wouldn't that be completely justified considering what you did to her? These are scenarios that it's about Danielle. It's not even personal to you, and you keep yelling and screaming. So Amanda just shows she dishes it, but she cannot take it. And she tries to play a victim when it happens to her, but she has no problem being aggressive to other people when it's like, that is not your actual business, the whole thing with Danielle and Owen. It's you hate Danielle, so just admit that that's why you're coming for her so hard. So Amanda pretends that she was trying to give Owen an opportunity to defend himself. She says, hold on, at Halloween, everyone was talking about it behind y'all's back. And I asked you when you're saying 4 years versus 2, and your response was that there was a thing called COVID. And then it showed Amanda going, I don't need an attitude from you, to Owen when he said that. She really, because she's such a narcissistic person, not that she's a narcissist, but a narcissistic person, different power levels, because she's above Owen in the reality TV scheme. Look how she talks to him. Look how she talks to anyone that she thinks she can get away with it. So there's that. Then she's also saying, oh, it's weird how defensive you guys are, saying that to Danielle and Owen. Dude, you did something that was actually so sketchy and shady and insane and a huge betrayal. And you told the person that you betrayed, who expressed anger towards you, to F off within a few seconds. So let's talk about defensive, Amanda. The fourth most fascinating thing about this episode is that Lindsay and Kenny are actually cut from the same cloth. I'm coming to realize, and I am loving seeing them go toe to toe. And she's able to appreciate his humor, and he's starting to show appreciation back and forth because we got to see them bond at their dinner talking about Lindsay doesn't talk to her mom. We know that Kenny just met his dad after not seeing him for 25 years. So they have this shared bond and the weight that it carries for them, and seeing sensitivity from both sides. I still think Kenny has narcissistic tendencies, but I do have hope for him. He shows some emotional awareness and the ability to listen to another person, even though they did not get off on the right foot. So I like that Lindsay was saying when he's talking about how Whitney was the one that actually found his dad so fast. And Lindsay goes, "You got to watch out for us girls. We all work for the FBI." And I was thinking, I really hope Kenny is very loyal to Whitney, because that kind of stuff must be scary to hear, because you better keep your side of the street clean, man. She seems like a nice woman. And Whitney, we don't see a word from her. I mean, she came in looking gorgeous at the wedding dinner, but she's very in the background because I didn't see her say anything. Also, then we see Kenny make a joke to Lindsay during that end of their dinner, going, "You got a good head on your shoulders, better than I thought." And then Lindsay goes, "Kenny, are you giving me a compliment?" So I'm loving their banter. And that's also making me have a lot of hope for season 2 of In the City, because and hopefully they maybe fight again. I'm sure it's not going to be all smooth sailing, but I loved seeing that. And then at the wedding dinner, Lindsay, when she's crying, then Kenny goes, "She's capable of crying human tears." And then Lindsay goes, "Fuck you, Kenny." But even though she was so pissed at Danielle during that situation, it was funny to see her be able to laugh with Kenny back and forth at that moment, though she was clearly highly, highly, highly activated. And I'm going to guess that Danielle and Lindsay are probably not going to be repairing things anytime soon. But again, because Danielle just had her baby Aiden, maybe in real life there are things that are repairing that are not happening on the show. The fifth most important thing that happened on this episode, was Lindsay calling out the boys club dynamic. So when she was at the Garrett with Kyle and Gavin and Kenny, they were also talking about the information they got at the other boys hangout, where Owen, they felt, was being evasive about his stuff, but also Gavin was coming for Owen in a nosy way, which I appreciated on a reality show, but I can see why. I'm a very open book, so I would probably just be spilling the beans, because I think you do create some suspicion when you're evasive, so I overshare. So Owen is not my style, but maybe that's a more self-respectful way when people, you can tell they're digging, to hold back and not give them exactly what they want. And we at least did find out he was legally married in 2021, but because of COVID, they couldn't have their wedding till 2023. So that's why there's some discrepancy there. And so Lindsay starts freaking out and she's like, "Can you boys fucking say something?" And then Owen says, "You guys don't even know me." And then we see Amanda saying, "I was literally trying to clear Owen's name." I'm so sure you were, Amanda, because you care so much about other people. And then I love that Lindsay broke the fourth wall. And she's like, if he doesn't want to share stuff about his life, because Danielle's saying, divorce is a sensitive topic. Don't dig into it. Don't dig into it. And then so Lindsay's saying, then why is he on this effing show if he doesn't want to share it? But the boys were doing shit talking, and that's something that every guy I've ever been close to likes to talk about other people that we've mutually known. I've never met a guy that doesn't like to gossip themselves. They just pretend not to while they're doing it with me and acting like I'm the only one who's into talking about people. So I like that Lindsay doesn't pander to the men on the show and is like, "Hello, back me up here." But I do feel bad for Yvonne, and I like that she at least told Lindsay, "Hello, this is my wedding dinner, and you're making it all about yourself and freaking out, and you should be getting everyone to shut up so that I can actually celebrate." So, eek.